Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. We are going to be here today doing a garage review of this thing, the P.43/06 AN, which stands for Anniversary, because this was the free tank given away to pretty much everyone who played a couple of battles over the Blitz 6 years birthday event, which also coincided with, I think it was Operation Thunder, or something like that, which gave out the first... There you go, there it is actually, which gave out the first operation tank, the same as they've got Heat and Steel there. It was a battle pass tank, etc, etc. And that's where this thing was also given away. It is pretty much just a P.43, but with a snazzier camo and a couple of change stats. So here's the P.43 as is in the tech tree. Pretty much, for the long and short of it, is that if you like the P.43 BIS, then you will like the P.43/06. They are near enough the same tank, except the P.43 has got a couple of different stats. So obviously I don't have the original P.43, so I will just be comparing it to some of the other medium tanks at the tier, and as you can see I've got a bunch of tier 6 mediums. So let me just do that for all of my mediums, so there you go. So, let's get into it. The 930 HP, which is not including improved assembly. I've got enhanced armor on it, so in comparison to something like the Firefly, which has got 1018, if we take off the improved assembly, goes to about 960. The Cromwell B has got 960, the Fury has got... how much? Take away 59, that's about 960 as well. The T-3485 Victory is 930, that's probably going to be the same with the regular 3485. Have I not fully upgraded this? Oh, I haven't got the better engine on it. Strange. The AC4, which has got 970, you've got the 3002M, which was removed from the tech tree, that's got 1139, which if you take away that it goes to about 1050, so it hasn't really got that much health in comparison. It's probably actually one of the lowest amount of HPs at this tier out of most medium tanks. A lot of them outclass this thing by at least about 30 HP or so. So whilst that's not a massive difference, it is something to note. However, you do have the armour to back it up. However, 100 frontal turret, 50 side, 50 rear, 80 frontal hull, 50 side, 50 rear, plus that is a pretty decent sloping on it, as you can see here. And my apologies if you can hear things in the background. It is obviously summer, so there's people screaming and shouting outside. But anyway, yes, so 80 frontal hull, and it's pretty decently sloped. You can bounce a lot of stuff off that, plus 100 frontal turret. It's one of the more well-armoured tanks at this tier. It's comparable to something like the Schmalterm, which has got 80 frontal hull plus 120 frontal turret. However, where the Schmalterm has got a pretty flat frontal hull armour, this thing has got pretty decent sloping, which gives it about 100 mil, let's call it, same as the turret. So frontally, if you can get it hull down, you'll do pretty well, especially at range, because yeah, 100 frontal turret on a tank like this, yeah, that's pretty good for the armour. 264 meters view range, yeah, that's usual. 35 kilometers per hour average speed, 19.1 power to weight ratio, with a 93.81 turret traverse and a 51.47 hull traverse with a 630 horsepower engine. It's not the most mobile thing at this tier, but it's still fairly decent. If we have a look at something like the Type 58 here, which has got a 546 horsepower engine, but it does have better hull and turret traverse and a better power to weight ratio. Obviously something like the Cromwell is obviously going to outclass it a lot. The Cromwell weighs less, and it has just got generally better mobility, far better power to weight, average speed, hull and hull traverse, etc, etc. If we compare it to something like a Sherman, even if we look at something like Fury, as you can see, Fury has got a better power to weight ratio with a worse hull and turret traverse, I think, but otherwise it is pretty comparable to the Fury. Indeed, yeah. 43.51, so yeah. Power to weight, yeah, it's still fairly decent, at least. It's nowhere near as bad as the Schmalter, which has got far better everything, but then that's because it does have a pretty decent gun on it. So yeah, it's not the most mobile thing, however it is still fairly decent. As for the gun, though, we're going to take a look at the gun here. It does get 7 degrees of gun depression, which I'll get onto, but it is a 90mm gun, which is pretty big for this tier, where most tanks at this tier for mediums are mounting 75mm guns. So it does have a 4.3 second aim time, which is not that great. Dispersion is pretty decent, 0.34. That's getting into pretty good dispersion. Reload time of 7.8 seconds. 140 average pen with AP, 180 with APCR, and 45 with HE, with a 225 average damage with AP, 190 with APCR, 270 with HE, and yeah, 7 degrees of gun depression. Overall, it's a fairly decent gun. The good average damage is very nice, obviously, and accuracy as well is pretty good. Aim time is not the best. Average pen is pretty much par for this tier. It's probably slightly better than some tanks, especially something like Fury, which has got 128, the same as the Type 58 as well. It's only 4mm less than the T-34-85 with that upgraded gun, so there's something to note. Let me get that upgraded engine on there. There you go. Don't know why I didn't have the upgraded engine yet. But yeah, comparable to something like that. It's not quite as good as the Schmalter, but it is only 1mm less than something like the Cromwell B's gun, which has got 145 average pen there. The same as something like the AC4 Sentinel as well, with 145mm of pen. So yeah, it's fairly decent. Sorry, it's 5mm less pen than something like the Cromwell. And if we just look once more at the proper P.43, as you can see, here are the stats in comparison. Same average damage, same average pen, same gun depression. It's going to have the same-ish damage, DPM, dispersion, all that. Once you've got 100% crew in this thing, obviously, with the upgraded engine, yeah, the P.43 is pretty much the same as the P.4306. They are pretty much the same sort of tanks. This thing will just have slightly different stats to make it a premium tank. So overall, it's a pretty decent tank. So there's no reason why, so there's not much surprise when it comes to why so many people were driving this thing when it first came out, and also still why it's flooding the Tier 6 battles today. It really is a pretty decent tank, especially for free. Lots of people could get this thing just by playing 20 or so battles with the battle pass. So yeah, overall it was a very decent tank to give out. You've of course got the standard repair, first aid, fire extinguishers. You've got engine power boost, adrenaline, and your multi-purpose. So yeah, no special consumables. As for provisions, you've got your standard and improved fuel for 3 and 10% respectively to engine power and turret traverse. You've got cinnamon roll and cheesehead. That's the first time I've seen those two, because I don't really have anything from the European tech tree here. But yeah, they give 3 and 10% respectively to quick mastery, and then you've got your protective kit, which is all of that lot, so you can go ahead and mount them as you want. You do carry 60 rounds of ammo, so you're not really likely to run out of ammo in this thing. You can go ahead and mix and match as you wish. As for equipment, you're probably going to want gun rammer. Calibrated shells is nice to have, but I think gun rammer, get that reload time down to below 8 seconds is probably going to be more important. I mean, you've got decent enough pen to get through most vehicles currently. Improved modules for the extra track durability. You do have those little side skirts covering your tracks a little bit, but otherwise, yeah, once again, it is a medium tank. You don't really want your tracks getting blown off. You could go with ramming, but honestly, improved modules is going to be more important. Coated optics. You are a medium tank, not really a tank destroyer or a sniper, so coated optics. Going to want enhanced gun lane drive, because without it, you're looking at coming up to a 0.5 second aim time, which is really not fun. The aim time on this tank is pretty killer. So enhanced gun lane drive. Enhanced armour is not too bad of an idea on this tank. It does have 80 and 100 mil of frontal armour, which makes it a pretty armoured medium tank, so enhanced armour is not actually a bad choice in this scenario. Engine accelerator, get your power to weight up. If you took it off, you'd have about an 18.1 power to weight, which is still not too bad, but even so, still other medium tanks would outclass it. So you can go on that. Refined gun, without it, it goes to about 0.37 accuracy, which is, yeah, not really nice. So I would say refined gun for this thing. And then really your choice of these last two options. I mean, enhanced tracks is always nice, but again, you don't really want to get stuck detract out in the open in a medium tank in the first place. So yeah, that's yeah, I'd say that's the equipment loadout. So overall, it is a very nice free premium medium tank that was given out to everyone else, or well, to everyone in that time. They also re-released the Y5 tanks as well, so if you missed out on getting something like the Y5 Firefly, the Y5 T-34 or the Y5 ELC, you could get them in that event as well, which no doubt a lot of people did as well. They came in the shop instead of in the battle pass, but even so, this is still a very nice medium tank. It does have a decent gun on it, plus decent armour, and the mobility is also alright. So pretty much, if you liked the P.43, you'll like the P.4306. So there you go. I'll thank you all for watching, and goodbye.